Guys, that's a roof.
What you're looking at is one of the most terrifying forces of nature, storm surge.
Oh man, there's somebody swimming over there.
Holy crap, there is.
If you live on the water, sometimes you're going to live in the water.
Why do I say storm surge is one of the most powerful forces on the planet? It's scenes like this. Just how quickly water can wipe away years of history. And that's what's happened here on Cedar Key.
This is devastation. The beachfront over there, you can see right through it. And I think that was built in the early 1970s, and it's never been this bad.
When I close my eyes and I think of disasters I've been in, I picture scenes like this, but I hear this. The sound of smoke alarms disconnected. Such an eerie soundtrack to disasters.
Scary, and this is nothing like we've seen before.
Hey, just coastal community living.
That shows it.
I've never seen that in my life.
It's really hard to imagine looking at this bay in the Gulf of Mexico just how high the water can rise. But you just have to come across the street to see the result of last year's Hurricane Idalia. Those steps, that used to be leading to a cottage that sat here for years. But the surge from Idalia, a little over 6 feet, wiped that away. This is what's left of the Faraway Inn. We caught up with the owner a couple of days ago as they were preparing for Helene, bringing everything they could out of those cottages because they fear that Helene's going to be even worse.
I think it's serious. Yeah, we're all a little nervous, all a little worried, all trying to make sure we do a little more than what we did last time, hoping we can save a little more than we did last time.
This is just the beginning. You can feel the change. The tide has shifted, it's starting to come in, and also the wind as well as Hurricane Helene continues to creep closer to this tiny island of Cedar Key.
That sign's gonna go now. Here we go.
So we're about 7.5, almost 8 feet difference. The storm surge itself has chased us back about a block. So we've been pushed back a block in the last hour and a half from the storm surge. And it is just continuing to stack up. And we could have another 8 feet.
It's coming up at a pretty quick pace. We just hit high tide.
This is a worst case scenario for Cedar Key. This is storm surge likely that this community has never seen before, at least in living memory. It continues to push in. This is First Street, and it is whitecaps, waves several feet high, pushing in off the Gulf of Mexico and into these homes. This is not a good sign. All of this debris that's sitting here, it shows structures. Whoa, look at that. Structures have been destroyed by this surge, and it continues to go higher. We have not seen the fiercest of the winds from Hurricane Helene that's made landfall northwest of where we are. But we might be seeing some of the worst of its storm surge.
The best record we've got is the first McCains came here in around 1860. We've been generational ever since.
And so what is this like to see?
Like somebody punching you in the stomach. Never seen anything like it. I've heard stories of the 1950 Hurricane Easy, and as far as I know, in my family, we've never seen water like this before.
Sadly, I see firsthand how quickly life can change on a regular basis, whether it's through a hurricane, a tornado, or even a flood. But your life can just as easily be upended here online. Data brokers sell your information to scammers, spammers, and anyone else who may want to target you. Your full name, email, home address, health records, your relatives, it's all out there. That's why I've been using Aura, the sponsor of today's video. Aura shows me which data brokers are using my information and automatically submits opt-out requests for me. Cleaning up my information not only helps to reduce the amount of spam I get, but it also protects me from hackers. I don't know if you saw this, but AT&T recently revealed that over 73 million customer records, both existing and former customers, were released on the dark web. Even Ticketmaster also had a breach that affected more than 500 million users. When I see these data breaches now, I really don't worry about it because I know I'm protected with Aura and I want you to be as well. I value my privacy and I value yours. That's why I want you to go to aura.com/JP. There you can sign up for a free 2-week trial. I also will have it linked in the description.
What makes this different than the others? What are you noticing that is like blowing your mind here, living here your whole life?
How fast it's coming in. Just the volume and the speed and the force that it's coming in. Usually it comes in slow and leaves fast. This time I've never seen waves like this right down here. There's never been water on this road, and we've got what looks like rapids down here. It's unbelievable. We've been watching it on our phones, the mean low water marks, and we know that Adelia was 10.69. It was at the floor of my house at 10.69, and we're already over 13, so I know it's absolutely in my house. It's at least knee deep in my house right now.
Yesterday morning, before Hurricane Helene passed by Cedar Key, I mentioned worst case scenario, storm surge would reach the roof, and we saw overnight, the peak of that surge, a wall of water crushed this tiny island, and it took out the Faraway Inn. Every building has been completely destroyed by that water brought in by Hurricane Helene. I mentioned these red steps in that report that was left behind from a cottage that used to sit here that was wiped away by the storm surge from Hurricane Idalia just a year ago. Now Helene's storm surge has taken everything else away.
This is the worst I've seen. I do really feel bad for people. I really do. It's so devastating.
This is not going to be the same Cedar Key that you grew up with.
No, it really isn't. And this would change. A lot of these properties won't be rebuilt, you know. You lose the businesses, and people, you know, you see for years don't show up because there's no work for them, you know. So it really does change the whole dynamic of the town.
Around 75 or so folks, I'm told, stayed on the island, and they've woken up in a completely new world. The implications of storms like these are so wide-ranging. This island is forever changed, and it happened in a few hours overnight.
The work that we're gonna lose. We've, you know, everybody's lost our jobs.
I mean, the big deck.
Exactly, just see and oh my god.
They employ anywhere between 12 and 15 people, and it's gone. The market employs 6 or 7 people. It's gone, and it's owned by the same man. And he lost 2 businesses in one fell swoop. It's sad.
This is the historical downtown, 1842. It's hard to believe, but in all that time, since these buildings have stood, this one since 1880, never has this area seen the water like what Helene brought. Just rushed inside. Oddly enough, it brought the coffee cups here. Left them on the sidewalk. This building itself, 1872. The pioneers, when they built here, they thought of things like elevation when it came to things like the surge from hurricanes. That was a way of life since the beginning. This building obviously boarded up, but the elevation, the history was not enough for this historic storm of Hurricane Helene. You can see the boarding up didn't matter. The force
of the water pushing everything inside, the water getting in, and now there are fish and tadpoles swimming inside. It's very rare to say you've seen something that no one else has, but the storm surge from Hurricane Helene is something this historic downtown has never seen in its long history. After Hurricane Helene, you do not have to look far to see the future of Cedar Key. Across the street, these homes that are built up 20 feet, modern construction techniques, high on stilts, that's the future here on Cedar Key in the lowest parts of the island. It's the only way, clearly, to survive what is now the worst hurricane storm surge in this island's history. How can you, as a community, come together after this third one in a year?
Because there's so much we love about this place. There's so much, especially the nature part, the eco part, the wildlife that's here and that's nearby. In walking distance every day to walk down to the coast and see the dolphin or the manatee, all the bird life. It's incredible. There are safer places to live, but not as many with so much incredible, incredible nature here and people that are so supportive.